Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Dearest Mother, Love Ruthie. Ruth Smallshaw Ray's Letters to Her Mother, 1951, Part 66. 1560 Luxor Road, East Cleveland, Ohio, September 11th, 1951. Dear Mother, Dad, and Bud, I can imagine what you're thinking about me for not having written lately, but it seems that we've been on the go almost constantly. Just before school started, we were out 18 out of 22 evenings. And of course, since school, I've been really kept busy every evening. It certainly has been a most successful summer, the best I've ever had, and mostly because John encouraged me to try so many new things. Driving, painting, made 2 loaves of bread, tennis, golf, started knitting John some socks, fishing, a great time. Oh, and I had my hair cut short, and everyone seems to like it, although several bemoan the loss of my, quote, long red curls. It certainly is simple to keep, though, only about a ½ inch long in the back. John likes it too. Anne and Wayne Duff had a baby boy, 6 pounds 10 ounces, and really Anne was wonderful. We saw them shortly before and she looked great, normal in every respect but her tummy. She worked that day and went out for the evening. About midnight had pains and 1 a.m. had the baby. Phoned the next morning to tell them she wouldn't be in to work, was running around the day after, and home from the hospital in 4 days. Wonderful. We were down to Sandusky the weekend before Labor Day and to Lakeside with all the family over the Labor Day weekend. 4 days. Had a terrific time. Went swimming, played tennis, played golf with John's dad and Dick 2 days, rode on a bicycle built for 2, played canasta, anagrams, and poker till 4 a.m. A real holiday. Grandpa and Grandma Zook were there too and enjoyed themselves. I'm anxious to hear about Vi's wedding and your visit. I'm sorry you've dreaded Cleveland traffic. We didn't go through any traffic on our way back from Regina last year. It's quite easy to skirt big cities and you can drive to our door without going through Cleveland. At any rate, we may not be in Cleveland much longer if John gets a law opportunity outside. Many changes may be in store. I would hate to leave, though. I was dreading school when I learned I was to have the same class, including Billy Burt. However, he's been going to a psychiatrist and seems more settled. Hope so. They're a full-time job, though, and a lively bunch. This year might be better. However, for we have a supervising teacher. Miss Kent and I have 2 less in my class and a man to help share the playground duty. Miss Bender had a very nice waffle supper last Friday for Miss Kent, and John didn't seem to mind too much hearing teachers' conversation. Tomorrow night we are having a young couple over, a high school friend of John's who just started practicing law last February. We drove to Berea one night for a picnic with Jer and Bruce, to Akron a few times. I'd like you to send the clipping of John being sworn in back, please. Can you spot him? I took a batch of cookies to Lakeside and got innumerable compliments. John's grandmother, mother, and aunt all want the recipes. Your coconut and peanut butter ones. And I also made shortbread and icebox cookies from my book. Had them all thin and brown. John's mother asked me if I'd been making cookies since I was a little girl. First time I'd tried icebox and second time for shortbread. Connie sent us some wicker placemats for an anniversary gift. Very thoughtful of her. She mentioned a nice visit with you. I wanted to buy you a pretty little hat last night, but John didn't like it. The same as your navy blue feathered one, only in rust. I thought it was chic. Anyway, we got him 2 pair of pants. I love you. Good night, John and Ruth. 1560 Luxor Road, East Cleveland, Ohio, September 24th, 1951. Dearest Mother, Daddy, and Bud. Hi, family. Honestly, life just seems to get better and better all the time. First, I want to say how very proud I was to hear about you being the Premier's secretary for a while. I think that's really quite an honor to be called upon, and while I can understand the butterflies, still it would be rather an interesting experience too. About 3/4 of the teachers at school are married, and while I don't sanction it, when your children are young, still it is more broadening to have a career life as well. And with all the modern conveniences, it's certainly possible. I do hope that Bud and Daddy will be as considerate as John is and share some of the home responsibilities for the next couple of weeks, like Daddy helping with the fruit. Let me know how it all goes. Thank you very much for the birthday card and pen that arrived on Thursday. Very nice of you and no duty to pay. I think it's a good idea to value things lower just in case. I'll try to exchange the nib for a finer one. I've been using 25-cent pens quite successfully since I've been in college. It's been amazing how I don't lose them like I used to lose good ones. However, I've been using John's pen for any good work, so it will be nice to have one of my own. John's mother sent me 2 cute pair of panties, a pale turquoise and a black pair. His grandma sent me 2 yellow towels and had a card from Carol and from Marion. John got me a great big box of Whitman's Lush chocolates and took me out for dinner. He had fried clams and I had turkey. I made a chocolate cake and had a birthday party at school with my class. Boy, did they ever think 27 was old. Methuselah. School is much happier. Of course, no evening classes help, and John coming home early, and playground help, and supervising teacher, and 2 less in my class all make the job easier, and my vitamin and iron pills. Last Easter, when I had to sign my contract, and yet hated to, dreading another year like last, I took communion and asked for help. We'd decided that I should teach because of John changing jobs. Still, it was hard to face it. As I left communion, it was as if there was a light shining in my eyes and my decision was made and that it would be all right. I dreaded it all summer, and yet to be sure, many of my problems have been solved. Once again, I'm enjoying school. I just felt so badly about Marnie's baby. I think it's the saddest thing and do hope that things will be okay sometime. Do they say why she lost so many? Was it the RH factor? It's a shame that they hadn't performed a cesarean and saved the baby before that happened. I'd like to ask Ted Zook about it, but would like to know a few more facts. Maybe if she were in a bigger city where they know more. They took x-rays when Anne had a month more to go, checking. It just doesn't seem right. It just seems that we're always so busy. Maybe that's the secret of why I've been so happy since I've been married. We had Carol for dinner last week, and Ted invited us out for canasta and television Saturday night. Carol has started university here now. I'd love to paint a picture for you. How about a sea picture? Send me the size you'd like, possibly the size of your blue mirror so that you could put it above the fireplace, and also the opposite wall for a change. I'd also have to have a sample of the blue in your living room rug so not to have clashing blues. After a small picture of the type you'd like would help. John's mother gave me a measurement, color of walls, and a small sample picture to go by. I'd planned to paint one for you anyway, but think it's more practical to do something you might like. John's mother's birthday was Sunday, and I sent her a little black purse. Got your clippings letter yesterday and Daddy's letter. Very nice. And interesting to hear of Vivian's wedding. The picture in the paper was not good of her, but very good of Glenn. I must send them something. Sounded lovely. Both couples, Anne and Wayne and Harold and Marge, called their baby boy Michael. Anne is a casework social worker. She works for a Catholic agency doing adoptions. Most of the girls at the co-op are getting their MAs and are social workers. It's quite a profession down here, and there are two types, group workers and case workers. Group workers work with groups, usually children and teenagers, at YMCAs and YWCAs, clubs, hobbies, and general welfare work. Case workers usually work with individuals, delinquents, unwed mothers, and people with problems. They are a very practical kind of missionary and usually study a lot of psychology and psychiatry and learn how to deal with people. It's quite interesting and a noble profession. Pat got her BA in it, although she never worked at it. However, in the U.S., you can't get a BA but must get an MA. Well, say goodnight and thanks. I love you. I gained 10 pounds this summer. Love, Ruth. 1560 Luxor Road, East Cleveland, Ohio, October 7th, 1951. Dearest family, this will be brief, but wanted to say hi. No doubt if you're still working, Mother, you can sympathize with how busy and involved life seems to get when you try to work, keep house, and carry on social activities. We've been unusually involved. We've just returned from Alice in Wonderland, and this week indeed has seemed as confused. A week ago Saturday, we had Anne and Wayne Duff and baby Michael in for the evening and had a pot roast dinner and pumpkin pie. Monday night, Carol came over for the same, and Tuesday, John's grandfather, who is 81, was brought into Cleveland from Marion in an ambulance, 125 miles. John's mother and grandma came in also and have been here all week. They sleep at Ted Zook's and stay here at our place between visiting hours. He'll be operated on Thursday for an enlarged prostate. Ted says it'll probably be 6 weeks and expects he'll pull through okay. He's certainly chipper for 81, although he's going through a lot. Still beats all of us at Canasta when we visit him in the hospital. It's been a lot more cooking than I'm used to. Had Grandma, John's mom, Ted, and Evelyn for dinner Saturday night. And today Ted took us all, 9 of us, to dinner at the Statler. Some dinner. Fred and Helen and John's dad came in from Sandusky today, so were with us, and this evening we had a buffet here. It's been a lot of confusion, but as Grandma says, it's worth it if Grandpa's okay. John has been wonderful and got up this morning and did all last night's dishes before church. Dale and Dan were here this weekend, but we were out when they came. I talked to Dale on the phone yesterday, and too bad we missed them. She had a 3-month miscarriage last month. Too bad. I will write again. God bless you, and good night. Love, John and Ruth. Now we have 3 comments on the original publication. And the first is from the author herself, Ruth Smallshaw Ray. We had a wonderful trip, 6 weeks. This is 1999. 5 weeks on Cistern Key in the Bahamas and another week in Belize, Ambergris Key in Guatemala, Tikal, and the Mayan pyramids, thousands. Very interesting. Patricia and I climbed and went inside like my grandfather Fisher did in Egypt in the 1890s. I also read the latest of my diaries, SFMCs 32 and 33. Thank you so much. I was anxious to have Mark and you all 4. I thought that we had such a lovely, wonderful family, marriage, and happy home. Still think we have a lovely home. Ruth S. Ray, Cleveland, Ohio. And the second comment is from Tessa Dolina, former secretary at Restless Educational Center in San Juan, Metro Manila, Philippines. Dear editor, greetings to you and your family. A wonderful issue, SFMC 33. Finally, a dream come true for both Ruthie and John as they embark on a new chapter in their lives. The pictures of your parents were quite appropriate for the cover, as both radiated a sense of fulfillment and achievement on their graduation. As always, I have compiled some favorite quotations from Ruthie's letters to her mother, which gave me meaningful insights and reflections. I particularly liked her letter dated July 18, 1951. I feel so good this lovely morning. Apparently it rained all night, and now it is just beginning to dry up, and there's such a soft, misty look everywhere, and fresh, sweet smell in the air. Choose or decide as best you can what you want to do, and then pick the best school in the country for that field, and do the very best you can. We're in New York, and I'm finally getting to see one place that I've wanted to for some time. Oh, is this ever terrific? I'm so glad that I'm seeing New York with John, and that I waited to come until now. It's like another honeymoon. Hope we have another year as good as the first, or as John says, 1 down, 49 to go. It certainly has been a most successful summer, the best I've ever had, and mostly because John encouraged me to try so many new things. Driving, painting, made 2 loaves of bread, tennis, golf, started knitting John some socks, fishing, a great time. Note, it has come to my mind that we can learn a lot of things in life only if you give time to it and if you really set your heart on your goals and aim for it. Only then can we really see the results and that nothing is impossible. Once again, I am enjoying school. It just seems that we're always busy. Maybe that's the secret of why I've been so happy since I've been married. Note, a formula for successful marriages, right? Thanks so much for sharing these collections. Keep up the good work. Tessa J. Dolina, San Juan, Metro Manila, Philippines. And the final comment is from John S. Ray, the husband of the author. Dear Peter, what excellent cover pictures on SFMC 33. It was not fair that Red did not graduate with honors also. I remember how much we enjoyed Moon and Blue on our trip to New York City. I had forgotten the name of Ted Zook's place in Georgian Bay, Kish Kadima. Red did some good painting and bass fishing there. Red was starting into her travel practice, which she has done so well for so many years, trying to get Gus to visit. I'll never forget that Ted Zook was able to fix Red's back, which had been bothering her for a long time. She seemed impressed by my saying that we should accomplish something new each day, and she apparently thought I did so. I do not remember playing so much canasta. It has been displaced by bridge. Our social schedule was unrelenting. Love, Dad. P.S. Really missed your mother when she was away for 4 days at her art seminar in Ayakaya Falls last week. John S. Ray, Cleveland, Ohio. To be continued. Well, that concludes today's presentation. Good luck to you with your efforts in family history. If this interests you, finding, preserving, and sharing old letters, diaries, and photographs, and interviewing elderly relatives while they're alive, you might consider checking out our website, Adventures in History, with Peter J. Ray at peterjray.com. So far, we've made 579 history videos in 7 areas: world history, American history, book reviews, poetic tours, Cleveland baseball, family history, and autobiography. You also might consider checking out our podcast, Adventures in History, which you can listen to on Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcast, and Radio Public. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care, and I'll see you next time.